Welcome back to Griffin Indiana 22 on Farming Simulator 22 for episode 7 with me, MrSealyp. I have made a start on the sugar beet harvest over on field 9. This is my second load. I think it's my second load. I just did the 2 headlands and I was making a start. I've been giving it some thought about whether I should hire a worker or not. The corn harvest pays quite well. So I'm thinking about whether or not, yeah, I think I might take a bit of a hit on the contract so I can have 2 going at the same time. I must say, this JCB, once the trailer behind me is full with 40,000 litres, the front end of this wanders quite a lot. We'll get this into the silo. Going, right, let's unload that. I have already moved the equipment I need to start the corn harvest. It's the field right next to the main vehicle store, so it's actually not too much of a problem. So I think I'll set it off, get like I normally do some headlands and boots, and then we'll get a worker going. I'm also thinking again, if I come across any coins, you know, a couple of coins is £1,000. That's going to cover a chunk of work if I find any. Of course, I'm not going to go looking for them. But if I come across any, not that's going to be out any out in the field, but you know what I mean, from driving to and from. So for this contract, then we've got these. These are fairly small, but we've just got to put them into the silo there, the transfer silo, because they're going by train. Both contracts are to Mount Vernon, and we've got another Lexion 8900, which is very cool. Look at the size of the field. Yeah, if I do, just trying to think, if I do a strip up the side and then across the top, a couple across the top, then a couple this end, and then we'll set a worker off. Then I'll go back to doing the sugar beet. Sugar beet will take a while. It's not a massive field, but I said that with the potatoes, and I really misjudged how long that was going to take, and we end up finishing the dark, which we could do again here. I've still got the ploughing contract available, or not available, I've taken on. So we'll see. The situation regarding the trains, the mayor is looking at potentially cancelling train services for contract delivery, so transport will no longer be available for contracts. If you feel strongly about that in any way, I think there's, if I remember, I'll put it in the description. The mayor has put a forum post to gauge people's opinion on that. If you have a strong opinion either way, jump in there onto the post and let him know. So the mayor will know whether or not to cancel train contract. Well, yeah, the train service for contracts. Well, I think it works. It does work, definitely, just not for the baling. But I think it, as far as I can tell, still, I think it was the Tana garden that was causing the problem with the cotton. Some people have said they've had baling contracts that have said they've had to deliver to there, which won't work. I've mentioned that before. If it's a silage contract, mind if it's silage or hay, I think you can get away with putting it loose. So rather than delivering it as bales, if you do the silage bales, then shred them, or put them into a silo that shreds them, or whatever you want to do, and then deliver them into the train cars as loose products, you can complete the contracts. I know it's a bit of a faff, but it can be done. All of my contracts for bales so far have all been, well, apart from the spinnery, the cotton, but mine have all been to Larson's livestock, so I've been all right from that respect. We'll see. Oh, I meant to say, MrSealyp showed me a brilliant, was it a picture or video? It might have been a video. Because Her Majesty the Queen is being transported now. It was by hearse, by car, and then by Royal Train, I think, coming back down to London, and her body will be put in state in Westminster, I think, for people to go and visit, pay their respects. But on the journey to the Royal Train up in Scotland from Balmoral, Scottish farmers lined the route in the fields with tractors. You see an aerial shot of it going along with all these tractors lined up either side of the road. It's incredible, just amazing. So yeah, that was, I just thought it was kind of farming related, and it was one of those kind of wow moments, you know. So anyway, that's not good, isn't it? We'll get this done. I think I'll do a couple of 2 or 3. Just think enough room for the harvester to turn around. 2 might be enough. Actually, it's a lot bigger field than I thought. It goes a lot further this way. It's like my son's mouth. Quite narrow, but goes back a long way. He's always got something to say, that boy. Always got something to say. Actually, we're probably going to fill this before... Oh, doesn't matter. I'll just put everything I can into that silo, and then we'll go from there, really. Silo capacity did change with the recent changes by the mayor, so the fact we can now buy manure and slurry at Larson's livestock. I think as well the fermenting silo speed was changed as well. I think that's up to, I want to say 24,000, yeah, 24,000 cycles per month. So that's been sped up somewhat as well. So there's a few changes have been made. The transfer silo holds a lot more now. I think it was set at 1 million litres. I think it's now 10, I want to say. Or was that? Because I've had a few communiques, and I can't remember now whether that was something that will be happening or has happened. I think it has happened. Especially if you're doing a big potato harvest, you know, you'll clear 1 million litres easily. I mean, I was up there on a fairly small field. Oh, okay. Just thinking how much time it's going to take me to do the sugar beet. This might not be too bad. I'll have to come back fairly regularly to unload, I think, because it's going to fill up fairly quickly. Oh, I'll just bounce between them like I normally do on contracts. So this will be my first one, other than I think when I did the potato harvest. The first couple I hired a worker while I whizzed back to do the delivery, and then I stopped doing it for the rest of the contract. This will be the first one properly hiring a worker in my own right, so I'm working for somebody, as you know, we're clearing this field for a farmer, but then employing other people locally to help as well. We're becoming a small business, a small farm holding, kind of. We'll see how it goes. I need to put a silo in. That was the other thing as well, because I want to transfer everything out the transfer silo that I've got. Someone asked me, who asked me the question? It was regarding yields and contract completions. I think it was Jack. It was to do with contracts and precision farming, and well, I mean basically any changes that can be made if you're running weeds and things like that. And it was about whether those things change what's required to complete a contract. Now, as far as I'm aware, the map maker sets what's needed to complete a contract. So you've got a contract on a certain size field. It's really basically what you end up with, what's left over at the end, how much you're left over. Now that could be set by Giants, but I think it's set by the map maker. I'm not 100% certain on that. And the thing is, that doesn't change. So if the yield required to complete a contract, or what's required, what percentage of the harvest is required, I don't think that changes, but what does change is the yield. So if you've got wheat in the field, the yield will be different. If you haven't done any fertilising, the yield will be different. So I think what can change drastically of how much you're left with is what you've done to the field previously. So if you've done contracts and you've done all the fertilising and ploughing and all the prep, and you're going to get maximum yield, you'll have more left over. As far as I'm aware, I think that's right. And if you haven't done anything to the field and the yield's quite low, then your margin between what's required for the contract and what's left over for you is less, I think. Yeah, as far as I'm aware. It would make sense, realistically, wouldn't it? You know, and that's how it would work in real farming. You know, if you've got a contract to deliver a certain amount of crop to a certain company, that doesn't change, but the yield off your field will, and that's why you've got to try and gain maximum yield, because then that you can fulfill that contract and then have spare left over then to fulfill other contracts or take on new contracts. So that would make sense, wouldn't it? I think we're almost there. The first unload, there we go. Pipe out. One thing I have noticed with the sugar beet harvest, now I had it happen on Calmsden. It was very odd. I've just had it happen to me doing the sugar beet harvest. I was doing the sugar beeting quite happily with the sugar beet harvester. I unloaded into the trailer, went and carried on to put some more in. When I came back, it wouldn't unload, and I couldn't work out why. I tried everything, couldn't get it to unload. Sometimes the adjustment on the pipe for the sugar beet harvester, I'll show you later on if it does it again. Yeah, sometimes the pipe adjustment on the sugar beet harvester works, and then sometimes it doesn't. So I had to save everything, come out, come back in again, and then it worked again. So I'm not sure. It's not the map that's causing it, because like I say, I did it on Calmsden, so I'm not sure what's tripping that out, but it's a bit peculiar. I'm going to get 2 full loads off this, I think, aren't I? So I'll get a full bit here. That takes 20,000 because it's got an extension. The one behind not as much, so we'll get 2 full loads out of the harvester out of this. I'm looking forward to doing the ploughing. I know it sounds weird, but I just love the sound. Hang on a minute. Is that just because I'm at a distance? I don't understand. That Deutschfall was a warrior. When we left here, when last I saw you, that was black. It was a warrior. What? How has that changed? Unless the farmer's come over and swapped out his tractors for the contract. That's peculiar. That's got me slightly baffled, I'm not going to lie. Right, I'll see you in a bit. I'll get this cleared, get a worker going, and I'll see you over the sugar beeting. We'll get that delivered, oh, as much as we can. Let's say it's going to take a while. We're going to be later into the day, so I'll probably see you, I'm just thinking, when I'm about either halfway across on this one, halfway across on that one maybe. Yeah, maybe. I think set in stone. I don't want to be held. I don't want it held to a standard. I'm back at the beet field. I have to say, I think with everything that's happening, with what we got financially, we've got the 3 cotton bales over there we still need to deliver and make our money back on. For the contracts I've got on now, and there's more that will appear, I think over October 3 then into November 1, 2 and 3, because there's still more cornfields and there's some other stuff. We haven't done sunflower yet, have we, this season? I think I'm beating the odds. Because we got it on hard and all the stuff. I know I've said it several times, but again, you might be new, you might not have watched any other episodes, but with it sort of on beast mode and everything on hard and the rest of it, yeah, I think we're doing better. We're doing better than I thought we would. And that's a good thing. I'm happy with that. I am still, because I keep thinking I want to buy that Jeep. I want to get that little case wheel loader. If I get the case wheel loader, the little case wheel loader, I can get a small trailer and I can get those bales picked up, those cotton bales, and we can take them off and we can sell them at a different sell point. If we get a different sell point, which I might well do. We might invest in one of the companies getting a sell point for cotton. We've mentioned that in the last episode. But I need something to do that with. But the problem is that would really into my money. That would be, if I can get the case for 30 grand, and if I pay 15 for the Jeep, that's 45 grand of the 65 grand we got. But we have got money tied up over there, which we can recover some of that. And obviously the contracts we're doing at the moment will pay out. Plus we've got all the crops, we've got all the silage bales, all the stuff that we've got left over from harvest. We should get some sugar beet left from this. We should get some corn left from the other harvest. But I'm still in the back of my mind thinking I don't want this to go Pete Tong. I don't want to get into December. We have harvest in October, November, and then then December it just dries up. Then there's nothing. Like I said, we can fall back and do a bit of forestry. I want to try that wood chipper, not the Devourer. I've used that. You know, that's the kind of cheaty version. I get it. But that one that came out that was the Hens Gens HEM, the one that had the little conveyor with it. I want to give that a go in anger. There is that big semi-trailer one as well, which might be quite cool. So yeah, we'll do a bit of forestry. We'll do a bit of logging, a bit of wood chipping over the winter, I think, because that's what we're going to need to do. I'm also, oh yeah, the greenhouse. I want to put at least one greenhouse in to get some watermelon underway, because we need that to be going. But I might not. I'm trying to think when I might do that. That might be a winter project, because we'll have the sunlight, although it'll be cold out. But a bit of sunlight. So assuming we get some sunlight, we'll see. I'm still going to need to build up enough money to turn my oats into seed, because I haven't done that yet. And I do want to do that, so we've got a load of seed available. Yeah, I've got plenty of plans, just not the funding to do it. And I think that, like I said very early on, that is the only downside to hard mode, especially, is that situation. If you've got plans to do things like that, you know, you want to do production change, you want to put in facilities, greenhouses, whatever it might be, they're not cheap. And to build up enough head of steam, enough money to do that, you're having to put in 3-4 times the amount of work. I just keep thinking, dude, the contracts and everything, they're paying out quite well, but they're big fields. And I think back to Stone Valley on FS19, and I would do a fertilising contract on one of the big fields on there and get paid 40-50 grand for like one contract. So I kept thinking, you know, yes, I'm on hard mode, but they're still paying out quite well. But then compared to it being on normal or easy mode, no, they're not really, are they, I suppose? Just trying to think, how much have we got left of this field? Well, I've been doing all right. It's still going to take a while, because the time's ticking away. So, as you can see, obviously the money's going down top right, because we have hired a worker. I am wondering as well, I don't know whether when I was doing Western Wilds, because I'd just built up enough money and I was doing things where I could sell a load of methane and I'd make 200,000. So hiring a worker didn't faze me that much, because I knew I could make a bit of money doing various things. I could take a load of pallets of planks and I would make 3-4 grand a pallet, so that was okay as well. But that seems to be going down really quickly again. You know, when the game first came out, I don't know if you remember, when there is one you've forgotten, but when the game first came out, worker fees were off the chain. I mean, it was ridiculously high. That just seems to be going down really quickly again. Is that just me imagining things? I don't know, maybe. Right, I'll see you later on when we're a good chunk through this, and the same with the cotton contract. Hopefully we don't finish in the dark again, but we'll see. Okay, the other worker's got a full grain tank, probably a good time to switch round. I'll go and unload that one, and I'll see you later on. We are, it's about 1:15. We're about halfway through the contracts on both, I think. As far as I can tell, field-wise anyway. Let's go up and have a look at the fields. Yeah, so field 9, because we've got that bit there and that bit there done, we're maybe about halfway. And then field 7, I would say, yeah, we're halfway with the worker. That's going to end up costing me, I mean, we're halfway, and I think I'm not far off £1.50 spent on a worker, so potentially a couple of grand, maybe just over. Is it worth it? I think so, because we can get multiple contracts done at the same time, so I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind paying out to do that. As far as how much we've actually got, so far then, corn we've got 85,000 or 86,000 litres, just under. In the transfer silo, and sugar beet we've got 160,000 litres. So we should get double both of those. And I'm going to work on, as I said in the last episode, I'm going to work on holding back 6 or 7% of their contract. 10% was too much when I did it before. 6 or 7. I might do one of them, I'll do 7%. We'll do the contract, and if it completes, then I'll do the next one 7%. If 7's not enough, then we'll drop to 6. I want to find that sweet spot so I don't have to go backwards and forwards. So if I do any train contracts, I know I can keep back that amount and we should be fine. As I said before, it doesn't matter on other sell points because you've got the trailer there. You can start unloading. As soon as it comes up in the right hand corner, contract complete, you can stop unloading. And yeah, you'll get a little bit of overlap. The difference with the train is you don't get paid for any extra you've delivered. So you try and find that sweet spot where you can hold some back. Now I know some people don't agree with that. I know some people said it before when I got a bit salty about giants changing the parameters and contracts changing a little bit and you're not getting as much and that kind of thing. The people said, well, you shouldn't get anything anyway. And yeah, you can take it anyway. I think my point was not that you should be entitled to get something. My point was, when I said it before, when I was doing Calmston, was that it was something that we'd all kind of got used to. It was something that had always been there, it always happened. You do a contract, there has to be a buffer. Like I say, with yields, to complete the contract you need a certain amount of crop, however many thousand litres it is that requires it, and if your yields vary, you need that buffer. So if you've yielded very well, then you'll get a little bit more. And I think because it would become something we were so used to, I was more cross because it was why change it? What difference does it make? Who's it hurting? Not so much of we should be entitled to have loads of crop left over. That's not my point. I wasn't making the point that if I'm doing a contract for somebody else, I should have loads of stuff left over. That wasn't. It was more the fact of it had always been that way. Why change it? You know. I think really that was more the point. So yeah, we're about halfway. What is it? Nearly 1 o'clock. I want to be done by about 3. I don't want to start losing the light and it'd be a nightmare for sending it off and delivering, and I wanted to hopefully get on to starting the ploughing at least while I still had some daylight hours, but I don't know how that's going to pan out. I may, I say, skip through October 3. It depends how it works out with the contracts we're doing now, but I think maybe because if we get more corn contract, if we have a sunflower contract, I won't. I'll do a sunflower contract. If I've got more corn contracts in October 3, I might just do those off camera because as we're doing one now. I don't know. We'll have to think. It's going to all change massively once I start buying my own fields, because once I buy my own fields, we won't have this big equipment. All the stuff I'm using now is all contract stuff. We won't have big harvesters. We won't have big seeders, planters. We won't have big mowing setups and mowing rigs and all that. We won't have any of that. So it will all change again once I start doing things for myself. I think the harvester's full again over on the cornfield, and while it's sitting there doing nothing on a worker, I'm being charged for the worker just sitting there. So again, I will see you in a bit. Hopefully we're nearly finished, if not ready to go, and yeah, we'll see what we end up with. That's been sort of what we've been doing the whole time, really. We've been here before, haven't we? It's 20 past 3, so I wasn't far off, and I've still got daylight. We ended up with 300,000 litres of sugar beet and 258,000 litres of corn. I've worked out 7% of each of those. The sugar beet, I've kept back 21,000 litres, and the corn I've kept back 18,000 litres. Now that may be less than I could have kept back, it could be more. So what I've got in the train should be enough to complete the contract. Like I said, we've been here before, haven't we? We'll see. And if I pick up any more corn harvest moving forward, you've got to remember as well the sugar beet. When I did the potato, I've got 43,000 litres left from that one, but that harvest I had over 600,000 litres, like 630,000 or something, wasn't it? So I had a lot more potato because it was a bigger field than I've got sugar beet. So the percentage may be the same that I've kept back, but it's less because I had less yield all over. So fingers crossed now. We'll see. Yes. Awesome. Both finished. Happy with that. So we've got 21,000 litres of sugar beet and 18,000 litres of corn, which does also mean that I can complete on both those contracts. 21 grand and 12 grand. Well, actually, it's not 17 grand because I borrowed equipment. Actually, why is that so much lower? Lease cost. Why is it minus 4,000? That's quite a chunk less. Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll take it anyway. So I've got plowing to do. That one, bale wrapping, I've got plenty of silage bales now. I'm not going to do that one. And that one I can't do because I've still got the situation with the spinnery. Even if I move my cotton bales and take them to a new sell point, the spinnery is full. It's taken a long time to chug through what I already delivered, which means I could complete the contract or I could do the contract, but then I have a load of bales I can't sell. I can't get rid of. Again, that's not the map, that's just the way production chains work, and the fact that the spinner is a production chain, it's got a capacity and it's at capacity. I could pick up that one, but in all honesty, I think what we'll do is we'll roll over into October 3. I'm going to get that ploughing done now. I want to start up that Deutz and get it out onto the field. I think it's down on field 4. Did it say? I wasn't really paying attention. I think it was field 4. And we'll get that cracking. So we're up to 91 grand again, and I've still got that deficit to make up. So when I sell those cotton bales, we'll go up a little bit more as well. Yeah, I mean that works right. Yeah, we've got sunflower fields. We've still got corn fields left that aren't ripe yet. And if we go in and we check on our harvest calendar, we're only on October 2, so we've got October 3 to go, then into November, which means we're still in the window for corn, sunflower, soybean, sugar beet, sugarcane, cotton. So yeah, we should get some sunflower contracts, maybe some more soybean. I can't remember what fields are actually planted with those ones. Let's have a look as well at growth. Yeah, so we have got, actually it's only that one and that one, isn't it? That's probably the small one, isn't it? Racking my brains, but yeah, sunflower, corn, yeah. So we should get some more. There are definitely more that are going to ripen before we run out of season. So yeah, field 4, that's what we'll head down to. I'll see you in the Deutz farm momentarily. We'll get that up and running and we'll get going. And then I think next episode, I might well look at getting the case. We might get the Jeep. We might get a silo put in. Then transfer some of the stuff over. If I do get the case, I'm going to need to get some bale spikes or pallet forks because that comes with a bucket, and that's going to be no good for moving those cotton bales. I don't even know if I'm going to have enough weight on it to move those cotton bales with that, but we'll try our best. Even if we have to buy a weight or lease a weight and put on the back just while we load up a trailer. I'm thinking of, I said about getting that trailer from up at the farm. There's another trailer I found. I think, is it going to be under bale? I can't remember what it was under now. Is it bale loaders? I don't know. Where was it? Might just be under regular trailers, possibly. It was really cheap and kind of like a versatile type thing. Where was it? That one there, look. Lizard light trailer, 6.5 grand. It's not a bad little trailer. I mean, there's one up there already, so I suppose you could argue, why are you bothering? You go a bale rack like that, log rack like that, so if you're doing a bit of logging, it's not that expensive. I think for doing a bit of logging over the winter as well, that could come in really handy for the price. But I need to keep an eye on as well, used vehicle sales. So as we go into October 3, if a tray like that pops up, then that might not be a bad idea either. I mean, it's not mega expensive anyway, but we are going to be spending some more money in the next episode, rightly or wrongly. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, into the newly painted Deutz farm, or swapped over. Let's start up. That just sounds so different. Love it! Oh, it does sound good. I've always really liked the interiors on the Deutz farms. What was the other one I used to like? There was a Lamborghini, wasn't it? The Lamborghini interior was great. But it was a weird thing. When I did my tractor driving experience, I probably mentioned this before, at a place called it was Hilltop Farm, wasn't it? The guy, Rob, that was doing the tractor driving with me, and they had John Deeres. And I asked about tractors and, you know, why they went for John Deeres, and he said about the fact that various different manufacturers will come out and they'll try to offer you their latest brands, and they'll offer you deals if you buy more than one and that kind of thing. And he said they had originally had a Lamborghini, and they bought it, and they, you know, he said it was awful. It just was. It was a terrible tractor. It didn't have enough. The horsepower rating just didn't seem to have enough oomph. It didn't seem to go very well. They had a few problems with it, and weirdly, that kind of informed my decision-making process. That whenever, you know, you think, oh, I could get a Lamborghini, that was always in the back of my mind. I know it's a game, and it shouldn't make a difference, but it was weird how that kind of informed my decision-making process. It's weird how that happens. But yeah, the interiors of the Lamborghinis are always pretty cool. But the Deutz cars are lovely. I do like the older ones. There's some really nice modded older ones, and they're normally quite cheap as well. But the new ones are mint. Right, Field 4 is this one. I mean, I was hoping it was going to be one that didn't have a crop in it. It kind of made sense, didn't it? Right, so we need to unfold. We'll start this side. I say this is going to take me a bit of time, isn't it? It's not a very wide plough. Did I just lower the weight in the front? I did, didn't I? There we go. Now lower that down. That's better. Now, obviously, because we're doing ploughing for the first time, all the cultivation I've done so far has been shallow cultivation. So now we're doing ploughing. We're going to get Fieldstones come up. I don't know if we're going to get any Fieldstone collection contracts. Don't know if that, in all honesty, I don't know if that's the thing. When it's the Elm Creek, I was doing stones. Did I get any contracts for picking up stones? I can't remember now. I think I did. But then the game's had so many updates since then, and I haven't been running stones until this Let's Play. So anyway, people will say yes or no, rightly or wrongly, or whatever it might be. But we are now 3:45. I've got ploughing to do. And then, like I say, I'll see you in October, when we should have some more contracts, maybe some sunflower. Regardless, I'm probably going to buy the new bits and bobs that we want to get, and hopefully by, into October 3, maybe the new sell point will be in, so we can take those cotton bales and we can sell them and get our money back. Our money back on the failed contract. Fingers crossed. But anyway, that's the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.